next up, it's my pleasure to introduce Stephen Randall of the Liberal Party of Canada.
Good evening, everyone, and I feel very badly that you're all standing up, but now so am I. And I'll sit down as quickly as I can. I'd also like to thank Mark. This is the kind of engagement that we clearly need in this community, and frankly in all communities across the country. As with Michelle, I'd like to introduce myself very, very briefly and indicate why I'm running. I guess I'm the senior citizen on the stage. I am a senior citizen, have been for almost 2 years now. Originally from Toronto, I've been in Calgary for 22 years now, since 1989. I served for 12 years as Dean of Social Sciences at the University of Calgary. I was first a department head at McGill University in 1975. In fact, before the birth of a couple of the members of the panel up here today. So I think when we come to experience, I'll just leave it at that and not say any more. I'm running in large part because I have a deep commitment, as do the other candidates on this stage, to the society in which we live, which has given so much to us. This is a wonderful country. I think we all recognize that. At the same time, I am personally and politically very deeply disturbed by what I have seen in Ottawa with the current government. And I think we found it much too easy to look aside from the fact that the government which fell only 2 weeks ago was found to be in contempt of Parliament for the first time in British Commonwealth history. This is just not resonating sufficiently in our society. This is a dreadful phenomenon to have befallen a Canadian society. This is the result of a Prime Minister, I think, who does not understand or does not wish to understand the Canadian parliamentary system. This is not a presidential system. We do not vote for a government, we vote for a member of Parliament, one of us on this stage to represent you in each riding. That then forms, through Parliament, a government. That's not the way in which the Conservative government of the past has pursued governance. I think the second comment that really needs to be made is the reality on the economic side. Canada, yes, weathered the financial crisis extremely well. I would argue it did not do so, primarily because of good economic management on the part of the Conservative government. We have a strong regulatory structure in this country, a very strong banking system, which was created largely by Liberal governments in the past, not by the Conservatives. The deficit, the massive spending by the Conservative government began well before the financial crisis began. And if you look at the International Monetary Fund data on the performance of Canada's economy in 2009 and 2010, in 2009 there were 60 countries in the world who had better real GNP growth, gross domestic product, I'm sorry, growth than Canada did. And that list of countries included countries like Bangladesh, Chad, Brazil, Argentina. In 2010, we ranked 25th of 53 countries. That's not, ladies and gentlemen, a strong economic performance. If you look at the International Labour Organization statistics, you'll find exactly the same record. When we look at healthcare, like Michelle, I've been talking to thousands of people in this riding. I think healthcare ranks at the very top of the concerns of this. And to that end, the defense and the protection and the strengthening of the Canada Health Act with the fundamental principles of universal access and public administration are in danger under a Conservative government, even if you return a minority government. And I remind you that in the 1990s, when Stephen Harper was a senior executive with the Citizens Coalition, he advocated scrapping the Canada Health Act. He has said it since. Is that the kind of society in which you as Canadians wish to live? I think not. Certainly not the society in which I wish to live as well. I do not wish to give up the principles of universal access to health care. Now, when we come to the notion, and it's been much in the media recently, is a Liberal government, would a Liberal government be hostile to the oil sands? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you look carefully at the Liberal platform, in spite of what we read in some of the newspapers, what a Liberal government wants to do with the oil sands is exactly what one of the country's leading progressive conservatives always advocated, Peter Lougheed. Peter always argued that what one needed to do with the oil sands was to achieve ownership, to go slowly, to ensure that you acted like an owner, and that you cleaned up your mess, and that you planned long-term for the future.
Is that called?
In other words, that you saved. And that is exactly what a Liberal government would do. There's also been criticism of the proposed cap-and-trade policy in the Liberal platform. But let me remind you that that's precisely what the Conservatives campaigned on in 2008, including our predecessor, Jim Prentice, in his riding. Cap-and-trade was viewed as a very positive initiative in collaboration with the United States. The rhetoric in 2008 was a North American-wide cap-and-trade policy. That's exactly what the Liberal Party is proposing. Funds that are raised through the development of those credits under a cap-and-trade policy would stay in Alberta. It's not going to hurt the oil industry. It's not going to hurt the oil sands. And they would be invested through partnerships with the province and in the private sector in green technology, in science and technology to reduce greenhouse gases. Exactly the same things which the Green Party wants to accomplish. So thank you very much for being here this evening. I'm about to get the hook, and so I'll save myself from that fate.